Hello! The purpose of this video is to inform you of your rights and obligations while you're in Cyprus. I will explain how a domestic worker can come to Cyprus, how long she can stay in Cyprus for, how many hours she should work per week, the salary she should be getting, and the rights she has while she is here. Starting with question number 1, how can a domestic worker come to Cyprus? In order to become a domestic worker in Cyprus, you must be sponsored by your future employer. In other words, the person you will be working for should pay for your tickets and other expenses. When you arrive and before you start working, you must sign an employment contract. We will say more about this in a minute. After you sign your contract, the law says that you must continue working for the same employer for 6 months. After the 6 months, you can ask for a release paper and change employer. You are allowed to change a maximum of 2 employers while you're in Cyprus, unless your employer has passed away. In this case, you can change employer without this counting as one of the changes. So, moving to question number 2. How long can a domestic worker stay in Cyprus for? Your visa allows you to be in Cyprus for 4 years. When the 4 years are over, you can renew your visa 2 times, each time for 1 year. So the maximum period you can stay in Cyprus for is 6 years. However, there are exceptions to this that allow you to stay in Cyprus for longer. For example, if you are working for a family and your employer is happy with you and you are happy with your employer, the employer can ask that you get permission to stay in Cyprus for more than 6 years. The same applies if you're taking care of an older person, a yaya or papu, or a disabled person. Let's go to question number 3. How many hours every week should you work for? You should work on 6 days every week for 7 hours every day. This is a total of 42 hours every week. If you're working more than this, you should tell your employer that this is illegal. This is stated in the employment contract which you and your employer have signed in the highlighted part. This means that it is illegal to be working every day of the week. In other words, you should not be working on Sundays, even if your employer asks you to, and even if your employer offers to pay you extra. You should also know that you must only be cleaning one house, or if your employer has 2 houses, you should only be cleaning those 2 houses. If your employer asks you to clean another house, for example, the house of your mother or sister or friend, this is illegal, even if she offers to pay you extra. You are allowed 24 days of paid annual leave every year. That means that every Sunday you're not working, and also that you have an extra 24 days when you do not have to work, but you should still get paid. You can choose these days and agree them with your employer. This is stated in your contract in the highlighted part. There are also 9 public holidays every year when you should not be working, but still getting paid. These are mentioned in your contract again in the highlighted part. So in total, these are the days that you should have a paid holiday. 1 day every week, which is usually a Sunday, 24 extra days every year, which you agree with your employer, and the 9 public holidays I have already mentioned. Moving on to question number 4. What is your salary? The minimum salary you should be earning is 309 euros net. In other words, 309 euros in your pocket every month. If you think you should be earning more, that is absolutely fine. You can discuss this with your employer and negotiate a better salary. If you're staying with your employer, you have the right to have your own room and to have access to food that you can eat. You can also ask for internet. Your employer does not have to provide internet, but most of them do. If you get sick, you can go to the doctor. You must make sure that you are registered with a doctor close to your home before you get sick. Since you are paying social insurance contributions, an appointment with the doctor is free. Your social insurance contributions are paid 50% by yourself and 50% by your employer automatically, so you do not have to worry about that. You do not have to ask your employer to book the doctor's appointment. You just call your doctor and set an appointment for yourself. Most doctors are not working on Sundays, so if you want to book an appointment, it has to be on a weekday. You can use one of your 24 holiday days for this. You can also go to the doctor for a checkup. For example, if you want to do a pap test. For a pap test, you have to book an appointment with a gynecologist, and it costs €6. If you are so ill that you cannot work, your employment contract says that you can take sick leave for 30 days every year. Even though you will not be working, you will still be getting paid, with the exception of the first 3 days of your sick leave. So you're not getting paid for 3 days, and then you start getting paid on the 4th day as normal. Let's go to question number 6. What happens if you're the victim of abuse? Your employer is not allowed to shout at you. This is verbal abuse and it is illegal. Your employer is not allowed to hit you. This is physical abuse and it is also illegal. Finally, your employer is not allowed to touch you sexually. This is sexual abuse and it is again illegal. If any of these is happening to you, you should ask for help from organized groups that have been set up to offer assistance to women in Cyprus. For example, you can offer one of the following: KISA, SPAVO, Obreras Empowered, or the Ombudsman's Office. These groups should be able to help you complain to the police if you want to, and find a different place to live if the person who is abusing you is living in the same house as you. Finally, you can find much of the information I have mentioned in these documents. Just click on the button. They have been translated in the main languages of domestic workers in Cyprus to help you. Here is also the employment contract that I have mentioned in both English and Greek. Unfortunately, it is not available in any other languages. I hope you found this useful. Thank you.